You don't have to give up what makes Dragonlance special with the Dungeons & Dragons 2024 edition. Welcome to another Dragonlance Saga episode. My name is Adam, and today I'm going to talk about how to play Dragonlance with the Dungeons & Dragons 2024 edition. I'd like to take a moment and thank the DL Saga members and invite you to consider becoming a member by visiting the link in the description below. You can even pick up Dragonlance gaming materials using my affiliate links. I'm referencing DL1 Dragons of Despair, DLA Dragonlance Adventures, and the D&D 2024 Player's Handbook and Dungeon Master's Guide for this information. If I leave anything out or misspeak, please leave a comment below. Right from the start, I have to say, this may not work for everyone, but I am using this approach in my current D&D 2024 heavily customized Tyranny of Dragons actual play. So if you'd like to see it in action, you're welcome to join in YouTube or Twitch chat live. Dragonlance came out of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons in 1984. That's right, it's 40 years old last year. You can check out the 40th anniversary celebration on dlsaga.com. What the original game designers did with Dragonlance was completely different from the other settings in that time. They focused on story over game mechanics and completely isolated the Dragonlance campaign setting from all other settings in the Dungeons & Dragons multiverse. In fact, it was so different that I produced a How Dragonlance Broke AD&D Game Conventions video back in 2021. But what's great about Dragonlance breaking game conventions from the start is that it empowers us to continue doing so. So, let's break D&D 2024, and with inspiration from its inception, find out how we can play Dragonlance in this newest of Dungeons & Dragons editions. Unlike DL1 Dragons of Despair, where Dragonlance was first introduced to the gaming world in March of 1984, it was set in the Age of Despair 351 Alt Cataclysm. I think the best eras of play for Dungeons & Dragons 2024 edition would be in either the Age of Dreams and the Time of Nights from 2000 to 960 pre-Cataclysm, after the birth of civilization and the First and Second Dragon Wars, when the Empire of Ergoth was in its full glory and the Rose Rebellion was on the horizon. This era saw the aftermath of the Grey Gem of Gargath, and sorcery would definitely be a part of the world. Or the Age of Mortals from 384 to 421 plus Alt Cataclysm, when wild sorcery was rediscovered. So, why do I reference DL1 Dragons of Despair? Because it informs us how they changed AD&D game mechanics and player options, and we can use that going forward in order to stay true to the heart of Dragonlance. First and foremost, we need to address the character options. We are in a time of divine magic being granted by the pantheon of gods and from within oneself through mysticism. This explains the feats which players have access to, allowing them to heal without being a priest of the Holy Order of the Stars. In addition, there is arcane magic, also granted by the three gods of magic, and sorcery, which is drawn from the world of Krynn itself. We also have warlocks, with their power coming from pacts with other beings, who respectively draw theirs from either the gods or sorcery, while the divine or mysticism aspects of magic are taught and structured by the Holy Order of the Stars and the Citadel of Light respectively. In my games, all arcane magic is controlled by the Orders of High Sorcery. This will naturally have to shift depending on the era of play in your game. So every arcane caster of any form must petition to join the orders by 3rd level or be considered a renegade. This may not affect them immediately, but it will have lasting complications further into your campaign. The moon will affect all members of the Orders of High Sorcery, and I go back to the DLA Dragonlance Adventure sourcebook for its references. If you want a better looking moon chart, check out the Dragonlance campaign setting sourcebook. And if you need help with the test of High Sorcery, check out the Towers of High Sorcery sourcebook. You can use my affiliate link in the description to pick up all three. Now that magic has been taken care of, let's examine the races or species presented as player options. And again, we can look back to DL1 Dragons of Despair for inspiration. Dragonlance introduced the Kender race to AD&D, but rather than start from scratch, they applied adjustments to the Halfling race. They reskinned the appearance of the halfling to look like wizened 14-year-olds that wore shoes. They also added new abilities in addition to all of the existing halfling traits. Taunt, which prompted a save versus spell. I would suggest a wisdom save, which causes the target to attack wildly for 1 to 10 rounds at -2 penalty to hit and a -2 penalty to their armor class. The second added ability is Fearlessness. I will keep this intact. There's no reason to change it. We have to discuss handling, and the DLA Dragonlance Adventures has a perfect manageable system for it. I prefer to let the DM handle it. Now let's look at Aasimar. These closely resemble the Phaethons in Dragonlance. They are the reputed ancestors of a Kaghanisty elf known as the Son of Habakkuk. This is where their divine power comes from, and their ability to manifest wings. It's a near-perfect one-to-one match for the Aasimar. Dragonborn will require a little massaging. While they are clearly taken from Draconians originally, you'll have the options of base Draconians or noble Draconians, those made from evil dragon eggs. The noble offshoot was made at the end of the War of the Lance, and there's no reason why those also couldn't have discovered female eggs like the base Draconians did, and propagate the species, though they would be more rare. I would suggest leaving the Dragonborn traits alone, but depending on the type, remove their ability to fly or wings, and add in their death throw. Gnomes are another that were originally changed for Dragonlance and ended up changing all gnomes forever. They are tinkers and spectacularly fail at it. Yes, there are thinker gnomes, but rather than talk about every subrace in every age, it's easier to let the DM work that out on their own. Goliaths are another simple conversion, as they are ancestors to giants in their existing lore, so we'll reskin them to half-giants. Orcs are just as easy. While orcs don't exist on Krynn, ogres do, and with the insane changes WotC made to orcs, they fit right into the half-ogre category for me. No other change necessary. The final one, on its face, seems like it could never fit, and that is the tiefling, but I'm here to say they actually work out perfectly. You see, Chaos tore a rift to the abyss in the turbulent ocean during the Chaos War. This is where most of the final battles took place, and this is where and when tieflings entered Krynn. It's that simple. They saw an opportunity and took it, escaping the lower planes and entering the prime material on Krynn, and have been here for the past 37 plus years. Now we should seriously talk about racial normality, because in Dragonlance, racial and sexual bigotry is real, and for the newest or more rare species, they will be seen as aberrations to traditional Ancelonian life. Play it up. PCs have to hide their appearance lest they be seen as monsters or demons and run out of town or hunted by NPC knights with something to prove. Part of what Dragonlance does so well is the immersion, so lean into it. Not everyone is welcome among normal races, let alone angelic Aasimar or demonic tieflings. And even Draconians may still be seen as shock troops for evil. Most important is the breaking of these negative conventions, but it should be earned through encounters and role-playing, not just because it's a PC. There are 3 Knighthoods in Dragonlance which are not represented in this new edition. Note that I am not referencing Shadows of the Dragon Queen or other 5e conversions third parties have released. Treat Knighthoods as multi-class options. The 3 major Knighthoods are the Knights of Solamnia, the Knights of Tikhisis, and the Legion of Steel. Each has its own order breakdowns and structures, and depending on the era of play, there will be more or less Knighthood options as well. The D&D 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide showcases marks of prestige and renown as rules that can be applied to these character options. Use them! This adds a sense of immersion and meaning to the character. Now, lastly, depending on the era of play, there will be more or less character options per your DM. But we should also talk about economy, because Dragonlance is a low magic world, and what magic there is tightly regulated. Monetary exchange varies radically by era, region, and nation. I made a video explaining currency in the War of the Lance, which speaks to the historical monetary use as well. Magic items and potions are not widely available and should be true treasures. Artifacts should only be temporarily used in high-stakes campaigns. War, friendship, love, and sacrifice are ever-present themes. Leverage them. Look to past game systems like Battle System for inspiration on mass combat, and make sure every PC's death has meaning in the grand scheme of the campaign. If not for an event, then for PC inspiration. Use NPCs to reiterate the impact of a moment, and don't be afraid to pull out the big recurring thematic events like a god's presence being felt or a dragon in disguise helping or connecting with the PCs. If you're looking for suggestions or inspiration, I would return to the original DLA Dragonlance Adventure sourcebook, and then the wonderful D&D 3.5 edition sourcebooks from Margaret Weiss Productions and Sovereign Press. Dragonlance Nexus has released some incredible supplements as well, but nothing trumps your own imagination and your players' ingenuity. Your version of Dragonlance may differ from others' version. That's okay. The only important note to remember is that this is about your game on your table. Have fun with your friends and this wonderful campaign setting. That is all the time I have to talk about how to play Dragonlance in Dungeons & Dragons 2024 edition. What do you think of my reskinning suggestions? Do you think all arcane casters should be members of the Orders of High Sorcery? And finally, will you be playing Dragonlance in D&D 2024 edition? Leave a comment below. I also want to take a second and let you all know about my new project. I've been developing a system-agnostic dark fantasy campaign setting called Dire Lands. You can learn more about it on my Evil Live Play YouTube channel. The link is in the description below. Also, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified about upcoming videos, and clicking the like button. This all goes to help other Dragonlance fans learn about this channel and its content. Thank you for watching. This has been Adam with DragonLance Saga, and until next time, remember, the elves have a saying, only the dead are without fear.